Devonta Smith has been impressing in training camp, as you expect. Big-time grab over Darius Slay. Just call me Slay. Check out the footwork on the ladder drill. Like the wings of a hummingbird, you can't even see his feet. Crazy. I watched it. I thought it was actually sped up until I saw him run.
Right. Unbelievable.
That ladder drill is impressive. He's impressive. As we welcome you here to Birds Huddle, powered by PointsBet, alongside Barrett Brooks. I'm Amy Fadool. I mean, that video is mesmerizing almost. Have you ever gotten wowed by just watching someone do what it appeared to be a normal drill like that?
A lot of times I see these guys, especially on YouTube now, where they do all these drills in which they, you can see that they've been training for this for a long time. The one-handed catches, the speed going in and out of breaks, how they go on these little ladder drills. And we didn't have that when I was growing up. We didn't have that. So it's crazy how athletic and how much they've trained their body to do these specific things now.
It's impressive.
Yeah.
I love that video of him. Devonta Smith has yet to make a Pro Bowl, but he appears poised to do that. He discussed his expectations heading into now year 3.
Every year, you feel that the more experience you get, the better you're going to be. The more experience you get, the easier things are going to get. There's always room for improvement. You can never just sit there and think that it's good enough. You can always get better. It's just going out there, doing the things that I've been doing, doing it at a higher level, and doing it faster. I have goals in mind. I'm going to keep it to myself, reveal it if I get those or not.
I like it, playing it close to the chest there. Brings us to Barrett's 3-point stance. First up, Devonta Smith doesn't get enough love nationally. He was ranked the 100th best player by the NFL and NFL Network. ESPN has the 16th best receiver in the league. Is he primed to become one of the best? Are they low rankings?
They really are, because of course, we have this home view of who he is and what he's done for us. But I don't think the national media has really, looked at him in that way, because they had AJ and all the things he was doing. They got great wide receivers out there. But at the end of the day, his numbers, are up there with the great wide receivers in this National Football League. And when I look at his numbers, he had over 2,000 yards the last 2 years. Over 12 touchdowns. He had 12 touchdowns the last 2 years. But what really makes him good is his elite playmaking potential. Now, how he's able to get open all the time. And it's great to have a quarterback like Jalen, because Jalen's going to make sure he gets the ball to the open guy. And 9 times out of 10, Devonta's footwork and how he plays and how he runs his routes, he's going to get separation and he's going to be open. Everybody looks at him because he's small, he's slight, he's 170 pounds, 6 foot. But you can't let that look at him. He was the National Player of the Year when he was in college football. He was the Heisman Trophy winner. And at this point, he's only getting better. Yes, he has somebody opposite him right here is really good also, in A.J. Brown. But, man, I tell you what, it's going to be hard for Jalen Hurts to really pick who's going to be open the most, because you have a guy that can go out there and deal with the ball from all these smaller DBs in A.J. Brown. But I just love the way this guy runs his routes, how he keeps his feet underneath him, how he presses the DB and makes sure they make the wrong moves when they're trying to cover him. He looks them straight down their face. And as he runs towards them, he makes sure he moves at the last minute, breaks, and gets that separation he needs to get open on the field. That's what's magical about how good Devonta Smith is. His ability to run routes, get separation, get open, and oh, by the way, those perfect catches that he makes, going up and snatching it out of the air, how he can control his body in the air. I like watching that kid play.
How much do you think he pays attention to stuff like that, like the 100th best player in the league, the 16th best receiver?
You'll be surprised, Amy.
I think
they all think about it, because I know I thought about it too when I was playing. I wasn't the upper echelon players as far as being all pro or anything like that. But I listened to everything everybody was saying. I listened to what writers were saying about me. And at the end of the day, it helped fuel me to become a better player. I had a little grievances against guys, in local media. Rube.
Now you're best friends.
Yeah, now we're best buds,
friends. See, that's how it works. But yeah, Devonta said that he's got goals for himself and only reveal them if he hits them. And it could be something to do with that 16th best receiver nonsense.
Oh, no question.
Speaking of Eagles receivers, your second stance from Barrett, Quez Watkins has high expectations for himself. After a down year in 2022, Quez had this quote yesterday: "I am an elite receiver. I feel like after this year and years to come, I'm going to put that on display." Meanwhile, take a listen to who Peter King tabbed as a sleeper on this Eagles offense.
The guy who I think is going to be a little bit of a difference maker on offense compared to last year is Quez Watkins. I think he is going to emerge. he hears the talk on the outside. Well, you got Brown and Smith, and you don't really have a third weapon as a receiver. I think he's got a little bit of "I'll show you" in him this year. I think he's the guy on that offense who's going to emerge.
I mean, that's a sleeper pick after you look at what Quez did last year. So, Barrett, are you buying that he's going to have a breakout season?
Oh, absolutely. Because if he's saying stuff like that now, that means his preparation was impeccable coming into this offseason. He went out there and did whatever he had to do to make sure his hands are going to be stable, that he goes up and takes balls out the air, that he gets his speed going, his route running better. Those are all things you do, and you build that confidence just from what you did in the offseason to make you better going into this season. Quez already had elite speed. We're talking about a guy that runs a 4.3, 4.2, and he has that type of speed. But you have to have the total package. You got to be able to go out there, maintain the ball when you get it, like, when he dropped the ball in the Washington game, making sure he can go up there and snatch the ball from DBs like he didn't do twice in the Dallas game. Make sure he runs the full route and runs the route in which he knows he's going to get the ball when he gets it, snatches it, brings it in, doesn't slow down, a la what he did in the Super Bowl. Those are all things that he's playing back in his head. Those are the things he needed to correct. Those are the things he's been dreaming about every night, and not saying they're nightmares, but it's just that little bit of influence that wants you to be and go out and be great. And that's what he's doing. He went out there and he now wants to show people that he is a great receiver. I have no problem with him saying that, just as long as he goes out there and does the work and really shows everybody he can do that. There's no question he has all the intangibles to be great. I mean, the speed, he has size, this is his fourth year in this offense. It's time to put up a shut-up, so I can't wait to see what he does.
Speaking of the offense, your third stance, the final one. Offensive coordinator Brian Johnson ready for his role as play caller this season. He was asked about gearing up for that role. Take a listen.
I'm extremely comfortable calling plays, but, ultimately, we're executing the vision that we have for the offense throughout the course of the week. Well, I think Coach Sirianni does a great job of setting a schedule in training camp and allowing for some of those call-up periods and setting up practice in a manner where you have to have some reactionary calls, and he'll blurt out situations, and you got to be ready to go. And that's not just, to me, that's not just on the practice field. I mean, that happens same thing in the meeting room and team meetings. So, I think the organization is set up in a way to where it helps you and gets you ready to go.
So any doubt that this guy's going to keep that offense humming on all cylinders?
No doubt whatsoever. He was already a good offensive coordinator when he was coaching at the University of Florida. He showed a knack for putting all his quarterbacks in great positions. He had a running quarterback, he had a passing quarterback, and he was able to go out there and use them in red zones and different, assets to help him go through the games. I believe that his notion that he said that him and Nick Sirianni, those two are going each week and putting this team in the best position to win. And in order to do that, he knows the responsibility falls on him to understand what Nick Sirianni is trying to bring to him and how is he going to go out there and put it in Jalen's hands and put Jalen in the best position to call that type of offense. I believe he's going to get a lot of say-so in calling the plays because he knows Jalen so well. We're talking about a 20-year relationship that those two have known each other. Yes, he will be a great play caller because Nick Sirianni trusts him. He understands how he can pull all of that out of Nick Sirianni, hand it to Jalen, and Jalen, we all know what he does best. He is one of the best decision-making quarterbacks in the league. He's going to make the good decision. If you tell him to run this play, he's going to run at that play the way it's supposed to be run. Who's ever open is going to get the ball. Whoever he feels as though he needs to go with his offense, he's going to go that way. So when you have a guy like that in the leader of your team and the quarterback, it's only going to work, to Johnson's benefit of being a play caller.
The thing with Brian Johnson is that he has a great relationship with Jalen Hurts. We know that. Obviously, with Nick Sirianni as well, the trust is there. But Jason Kelce said earlier this week he loves that Brian Johnson comes in those O-lineman meetings.
You love that because
come through.
You want to know what the Hogs are doing. You want to know what the big
doing.
boys are doing. They want to run the ball, but they also want to pass a little bit too.
Yeah.
As long as he get a little information on them, yeah.
I like that. He really enjoyed that he was coming to his meetings as well. All right, plenty more Birds Huddle coming up. Here's the playbook on tap for you. We're bringing you more of Taryn Hatcher's conversation with NBC Sports' Peter King. He dives into the defensive side of the ball. Plus, Barrett ranks which Georgia Bulldogs will have the biggest impact for the 2023 Birds. And Commanders owner Josh Harris proving to be a man of the people down in D.C. Just how long will that honeymoon last? Stick around.